right, hey guys, I thought I would just get ready with you guys this morning and talk a little bit about my skincare routine. And I know those of you that watch my videos for this, it's old hat, but for any of you that might be new here, just going to share with you some of my absolute favorite skincare things. Now, you guys know that I'm old school, or for those of you that are new, I'm totally old school. I don't do any modern skincare stuff. You might want to go scroll my page, check out my video on why I don't do retinols and, things like that. And I wanted to share what my favorite beauty tool is, and it would be a washcloth. Okay, this happens to be a hand crocheted 100% cotton washcloth. Okay, but really any washcloth. I prefer washcloths that are natural fiber. I don't do well with microfiber cloths. They do irritate my skin a little too much, and sometimes they make me get little breakouts, or they've been known to kind of like take a little too much off, and I'm very gentle with them, so it's not like I'm scrubbing my face. And I've probably tried 15 different microfiber cloths over the years, so I've tried a lot of different brands and a lot of different kinds, and they're just not great for me. Now, a lot of people love them, and not everybody has sensitive skin like I do, but they're just too much for my skin. But I do love a nice natural cloth, washcloth, and I always go for cotton. Now, this being textured has a bit of, a bit of surface area here with a nice texture to, well, a huge surface area and a bit of texture to really help remove that very outer layer, because that's all I'm interested in removing, is that very outer layer of that dry stuff that is like starting to peel away but hasn't quite detached yet, and I don't want to rip it off. Okay, I don't want to rip it off. I just want to, like, I don't know if you've ever had like a hangnail or something and you just play with it with your finger, you twirl it and it like breaks off where it's still dry, so you don't end up getting into the living skin. And again, I'm not interested in removing my horny layer, because your horny layer is the most protective layer of your skin, and you need it, okay? You need it for healthy skin. By constantly removing your horny layer and wearing down that stratum corneum, your underneath layer of the epidermis has to eventually, over time, get thicker, because it has to protect itself from the damage. It has to protect itself from taking away that protective outer layer. That's the very definition of skin damage, okay? So I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in altering my skin to such a degree that my stress response and my immune response has to kick in to any significant degree, okay? So I just do very, very light exfoliating. I do this every morning, and it's very light. I'm just sliding my hand across my face. I am not scrubbing at all. And because I had massive amounts of sun damage in my past, and I'm talking massive, I was a teenager of the 80s. We're the ones that made skincare a thing, okay? We're the group. And I also suffered from severe frostbite on my face, where I thought I was going to have surgery. No kidding, it was terrifying. And I also had a chemical burn on my face from glycolic acids back in my 20s. And the only reason I used it is because I was getting married and I was stupid. I just thought that like I wanted to like have flawless skin. I used to get a couple breakouts from time to time. I used to whatever. I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking. I clearly wasn't thinking. Not with my functioning brain anyway. And it gave me severe chemical burns that took me 2 years to heal. So I have very sensitive skin, all right? So I love a good cloth. It's just hands down my favorite beauty tool on the planet, okay? And I don't use any kind of physical exfoliants other than a cloth, because why pay for it? Why pay for it when I can do the same thing with a cloth? Makes no sense. Okay, now, some people will tell you that a cloth could cause micro tears in your skin. Well, you know what? Retinol can burn your skin. It does burn your skin, okay? So as long as you're really, really gentle, and you have to know your skin. If you have really, really sensitive skin, you could try the 100% cotton flannel. This is actually marketed as a castor oil pack cloth because I couldn't find any for the face that were big enough and thick enough. So this is kind of thick. I love the thickness of it. And it is really soft. It has the tiniest bit of texture, but not a ton. And it is really, really soft. So this is what I always recommend to people with really sensitive skin, and to just try it gently and see how your skin responds. Most people do great with it. Actually, I haven't met anyone that hasn't. Just keep that in mind. Okay, haven't met anyone that hasn't done well with that. All right, so you guys can see I've got my, oh, you can't see, can you? Can you see? I don't think you can, but I've got my cloths hanging up on the back here. And I've got different cloths because I switch them up. All right, I have some that are a little more textured than others. This one is pretty textured. I use this one most days, most of the time. And then a couple of times a week, I use one of my textured cloths, and that's how I rotate it. Other than having damaged skin from the frostbite, the glycolic acid, that I've never had a barrier problem, never, not once, okay? I've never had to put anything on my skin because my barrier was even remotely not doing good, all right? As I go to show you, okay? Also make my own face balms. And I use a combination of animal fats and other plant oils. And of course, this was my rose water. It's rose water. It's also got neroli and distilled aloe in it. And I use that every day as my hydrator. I think that has a little bit of glycerin in it too. I can't remember if I put it in there. I might have put a little glycerin in there. I can't remember. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. I don't really find that it makes a difference for me. I'm going to be honest. My skin is in such good condition that I don't really need any of those humectants because I don't beat my skin up, and I use a really rich face balm, and it just works for me. And I also have a high-fat animal food diet, which really nourishes my skin incredibly well. And since I went carnivore like 8 or 9 years ago, I don't know how long it's been. It's, I don't know, it's between like 7 and 9 years ago. I lose track of time, and I didn't write the date down when I started. My skin has been doing really good. I've never had terrible skin, but I've had a lot of damage to my skin. And honestly, the fact that I'm 57, I should look a lot older than what I do. I should, but I don't. Okay, so washcloth is my best friend. My grandmother always used a washcloth, and she lived to be 104, and her skin was always beautiful. Yes, she had wrinkles, but she was beautiful, and her skin was in beautiful condition. She always had beautiful, beautiful, healthy skin because she didn't do anything crazy to it. Washcloth and moisturizer, you know? Yeah. And, you know, back in the day, a lot of our grandmothers, you know, did the slugging. And I don't know if she actually did the slugging. We never talked about it, but remember, your skin heals at night and rejuvenates most at night. So it's really good to go in at night and give it a little extra. This is just my sunscreen. I'm probably not going to be out a ton today, but it has been sunnier lately. It's been warmer, which means the UV is definitely creeping up. So I have to be a little more mindful. And this is my Badger. You guys know I love the Badger baby formula. Roman chamomile and calendula. It's my favorite. The new one is supposedly whiteless. This one was not labeled as whiteless, but it blends into my skin just fine. So I don't have a problem with it. But that's the older formula. And then this is the Daily 30. This one is in sunflower oil. This one is in coconut oil. So not everyone's going to be able to do the coconut. I love the coconut one though. It is so silky and smooth. Like, oh, it's gorgeous. I just layer them. And it leaves my skin feeling absolutely gorgeous. And I cannot put sunscreen on my body. I don't know if it's the zinc or what it is, but I've tried a million different ways. I just can't. I can't put any kind of sunscreen on my chest. I don't know if it's because, well, this has had a lot of sun damage over the years too, so I don't know if it's just hyper sensitive, but my skin's always been really sensitive though, so I don't know. I've always had sensitive skin my whole life. So I don't know, who knows? But I can honestly say the skin on my face is not as sensitive as it used to be, and it's actually gotten so much better. It has really improved, and yeah. So, secret weapon, that's what I love. Also my hands. I do facial massage quite frequently, actually. I usually do it at night because it leaves my skin quite rosy. And I will do, a whole facial massage. I'll do some lymphatic massage from time to time, but I don't usually need to because I don't wake up with a puffy face or anything. But as you get older, everything slows down. Things just don't work as good. If I eat stuff that my body doesn't agree with, which is hardly ever, but sometimes my left eye will get a little puffy, and I'll definitely take the time to drain that. Sometimes I'll do some fascia work. I'll either use my hands or I have some fun little facial tools and stuff. And I always buy the knockoff tools because I'm not spending a fortune. I have some expensive things that I've spent money on over the years, and honestly, the knockoffs work just as well. So I won't spend a lot of money anymore. There's no way. And I remember after going through my facial rejuvenation program, it's basically a facial without using products and crap. It's just basically all using your hands and doing pressure points and that type of thing. And when you see that and you see the transformation and people get off the table and they look in the mirror and they go, what? Like, it really hits you. It just really hits you how when you affect, the face, the head, the neck, whatever, and everything just starts to kind of soften and open, and then, you kind of do your thing. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. And I remember going through that program, and all of us that were in that program were dumbfounded, like truly dumbfounded. And not only was it what was happening physically, but it was what was happening to us internally. Every single person in the class was having these profound shifts, I guess is the word. Very deep experiences going through this program. So it was more than just physical. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was probably one of the most profound experiences of my life. And that was the point where I was deeply invested in, the natural skincare path, the natural health path, natural healing path, mind, body, spirit, holistic. But I didn't realize that this program was so rich in the other realm, right? Like I just, facial rejuvenation, it sounds great, whatever. And little did I know that it was so much more than that, and absolutely incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So anyway, so that was what really got me totally solidified in the idea that you don't need to be doing all of that stuff to have beautiful, healthy skin and to have that inner beauty radiate outward. Now, I don't want to say this is all there is. You've got to have good diet, good lifestyle, A, B, C, D. I mean, I'm not saying that it's the only thing. If you have a terrible diet and you smoke, you drink a lot, terrible lifestyle, the chances of you having healthy skin are slim to none, okay? But when you have a human appropriate diet, which is a heavy animal-based diet, we are not herbivores, okay? We are not herbivores at all. And if you don't get the correct building blocks to have healthy skin, then you're going to find yourself desperately trying to do all of this stuff to your skin. And wanting to look younger is also a sign of mental illness, okay? Because it's not normal or natural to want to continue to look like you looked like in the past. That's not a normal or a natural thing. We all miss things, right? We all, you can look back and think, oh, I loved it when I was 3 before I went to school and I was free and I played all day and, life was whatever. I mean, we can all have those nostalgic moments or, wow, I looked at a picture of myself when my daughter was little and I was probably 30, and my daughter and I were going through pictures and she was like, oh my God, you look like you were 16. And I was like, well, I wasn't, I was 30. But it was like, she was like, no way, right? So can we be nostalgic? Yeah. Can we look back at that and be like, God, did I even appreciate how good I looked back then? No, probably not, right? Because it's us, it's our life, we're living in it. We're not like outsiders looking in. So it's never the same for us as what other people see on the outside. But where I'm going with this is that, I can look back at those pictures and think, damn, I want to look like that again. Or, the wrinkles and whatever, it's changing me and I'm not comfortable with that or whatever. But the truth is that, I've persevered through a lot to get where I am. And the fact that I'm still standing and I'm still doing all right and I'm still hanging in there, it's okay. It's okay because this is the map. This is the map of my life. This is the story. And actually, I'm surprised it doesn't look worse than it does because my story's been kind of intense. Yeah. Not to mention the physical damage that I've had to my skin. But my skin feels good. It feels good. It looks good. It glows. I don't need to be burning my skin to get it to glow. I don't need to do facial peels and I don't need to do any of that stuff. And I don't use peptides, retinols, none of that stuff. And if you don't understand how these work in the skin and how they biologically and physiologically interact with our cells, why they work, how they work, the potential for damage, well, they do damage. That's what they do. That's how they work, okay? If you don't understand that, you might want to do some research because it is the epitome of deception, all right? You get the aesthetic thing, but you're getting skin damage. And they say it makes your skin healthier. No, it doesn't, okay? No, it doesn't. Health is when your skin is self-regulating and is maintaining homeostasis, and all of that anti-aging bullshit does the opposite. Does the opposite. So remember, they function with a different dictionary, okay? They're deceptive, all right? All of this stuff is deceptive, okay? Natural remedies work differently. They don't work through the stress response, all right? They work through the healing response. They don't create stress in the body, the hormetic stress. They don't create the stress, inflammation, damage, where the body has to come in and go, oh my God, I need to fix this. Natural remedies don't work that way. they work very differently. They work deeper through the metabolic world, and they actually support by feeding and nourishing the cells. Very different, very different. Phone's ringing, signing out.